Hey, it's Carol Doherty I'm live right now for this week's tip. And I want to talk about the signs that you may be in a toxic workplace. I have been in several, and they varied on what about them was toxic. And too often we start wondering, are we in a toxic place? Is it just us? And I think as a woman in STEM, we often start thinking it's us. We assume we're the problem because we're told we're the problem. Well, guess what? It may be where you are. That can be the awful place. So, I want to talk about signs that you can be looking for if you're starting to wonder, wait, am I failing? Is it not working? Maybe you find yourself getting short tempered at home or at work. Maybe you're starting to be tired all the time. You're not feeling well. It could be that you're in a place that is doing you more harm than good. So let's look about what are the signs. The first sign to look for is blatant favoritism. Okay. And that may seem obvious, but sometimes it isn't as obvious as it looks. It could be very blatant, but it's not obvious. And what I've found is that what I saw when this was going on was one person tended to get better projects. They got better assignments. They were given a little bigger pay raise. Maybe not outrageously bigger, but maybe they got 5% and other people got 4.5. Now, when I first started out my career, you didn't talk about salaries, but now you can and you should. There should be transparency, right? But people start just getting that, or they get a little bit bigger bonus and they really didn't produce anything more. This is often very true when the person getting the little bit better stuff is a man. Maybe you're rearranging the office, they're redoing, and there's a little bit bigger office, and that person gets it. That person always gets things that are just a little bit better. That's actually blatant favoritism. Now, sometimes it's really obvious that it's going on, and I've seen that where Joe gets all the good stuff, and everybody in the company knows it. Everybody talks about it. Well, guess what? That's a problem. And that's a sign that you might be in a toxic place if there's this subtle or blatant favoritism. When it's obvious and people recognize it. When you hear, well, if you're on Bob's team, they get all the good stuff. They get the better assignments. They always get better raises. Why? Are they really that much better? Or is Bob doing something to keep the people that he wants? And so he's playing favorites. And the company likes Bob, so they give into it. I've seen that. The next sign is bullying is overlooked and downplayed when reported. I have seen this in companies where somebody was an outright bully. They crossed so many lines. Other places that I've worked, they would have been fired. And yet, in one place, it happened and it was, yeah, but they get really good results. Yeah, but we need him. Yeah, but we don't have anything way to replace him. So if he leaves, we're in trouble. We need him. That yeah, but is a problem. And I've seen it so many times and it makes me crazy. I had a boss. I went to my boss about a coworker who people were complaining to me. They were saying, we don't like to ask your department questions because of how she answers. This is why people don't trust your department. So I go to my boss, and his answer is, yeah, well, she doesn't have a good bedside manner, but she gets results. Really? Yes, she got some results, but how is being somebody that causes people to say, we don't trust your department, getting the great results? I didn't get it. So anyway, I ended up not being there. So it's that kind of thing. When that bullying exists, when it goes on, especially if you start hearing, yeah, but that's toxic. It's someplace that isn't good for you. There's another thing when there's these little cliques, like I said, like if Bob's team always gets the good stuff, or if there's this kind of group of people that are always together and they look after each other and they're just, it's kind of like those high school or junior high cliques that we dealt with that were awful when we were in high school and junior high, middle school. They aren't any better when we're working. It's maddening when this goes on. So, if you're seeing some of that happen, it might be toxic. And I have seen that way more often than I really want to think about over the years of my career. You get these little cliques and they don't want to let anybody else in. And they kind of play the mean girls, and it may be guys, but they're mean to people who aren't part of the in crowd. So watch for that. Another sign, and this I saw most often in the toxic workplaces, everybody's out for themselves. They're in it to win it. They're in it for themselves. Competition is excessive. And what this starts looking like is you need help, but you'll help Mike, but Mike can't be bothered to help you. But he'll be happy to ask you for help because you've helped him. So, or, "Oh, I don't have time for that." They dump stuff on you. And this I've seen this happen to a lot of women in STEM fields, in engineering and construction, where they get all the crap assignments. They get all the clerical, administrative, you know, all the taking the notes in the meetings and writing the reports and doing all that while the guy, the boss, the PM, whatever it is, they are getting all the higher profile stuff. They keep all that for themselves. So they're in front of the big bosses and they're the ones who are getting the credit for what the team is doing because they're the ones talking about it while you're relegated to kind of that background stuff because they're in it to look good for themselves. They're in it for what they can get out of it. Sometimes it is super blatant. And oh, believe me, I've been there. And other times it's that more subtle. Well, they just never let you present. They never let you do the report. They never let you get visibility, get exposure to senior leaders. They want all the glory. They want all the credit. They're in it to win it. And that can become extremely toxic because how do you grow? How do you learn? How do you get seen? You don't. So pay attention to those sorts of things. The other thing, and the last one I'm going to talk about, is where putting down others is common. So I have been places where it's like, the water cooler chat is talking about others. It's that gossip thing. And it's not ever, "Hey, did you hear Susie had her baby or Joe's getting married?" Whatever. It's never the good stuff. It's always, "Oh, did you hear about Joe? He screwed up." Or, "Wow, Mary really got in trouble for this." Or, "Wow, can you believe how bad Susan acted over this?" It's all that where you're pushing people down so that you can rise up. That doesn't work. And when that becomes common, that's toxic. So if you want to know more about what to do if you find yourself in a toxic workplace, go out to my YouTube channel. I'll be posting a video shortly about that, what to do if you're in a toxic workplace if you're a woman. See you around. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's caroldoherty.2. I'll also be talking more about this topic on how to survive a toxic workplace next Wednesday, the 17th at noon Central during my midweek madness break. You can sign up for that at www.midweekmadnessbreak.live. Or if you're on Instagram, it's a link in my bio. Hope to see you there. Let's talk more about how do we deal with this stuff. Have a great day.